Hey guys, Red Bat here, and we are going to be doing a bunch of SCP readings. And we are going to start and maybe finish with SCP-031, What is Love? Because I've had a little look at it, and it's quite a lengthy one. So, let's get on with it. SCP-31, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-31 is currently contained in the Raigugang Hotel, located in the city of Pyongyang, Democratic People's Republic of Korea. As the nation it is located in is currently governed by an authoritarian regime with near complete control of state and national media, the possibility of information regarding SCP-31 being released to the world at large is minimal. As said regime is also cooperating with the Foundation in order to maintain physical security of the site, Foundation personnel are instructed to comply with their directives, so long as they do not interfere with larger Foundation aims. The structure of the Raigugang Hotel serves to contain SCP-31 within the central spire. Three secondary spires, located at 120-degree intervals from the central pyramid, house Type 9 Heaven's Blade restriction systems, calibrated to focus a disruptive energy field towards the central spire. Although unable to prevent physical escape of SCP-31, the system serves to prevent SCP-31's psychic energies from escaping the structure and affecting off-site personnel. Reclamation efforts of the hotel are currently underway, with local government forces utilizing hazmat-suited personnel armed with flamethrowers and chemical sprayers to decontaminate areas affected by SCP-31. However, due to the slow pace of progress in SCP-31's defensive capabilities, reclamation efforts are drastically behind schedule. Personnel who become affected by SCP-31's psychic abilities are to be terminated immediately to prevent their biomatter from becoming incorporated into its physical matrix. Description: SCP-31 is an amorphous organism with a mass of over 7,500 kilograms that has infiltrated the ductwork and maintenance infrastructure of the building. Tendrils emerging from SCP-31's central mass have spread throughout the hotel's plumbing and ductwork to all 105 floors of the building. At its peak, over 75% of the hotel's 3,000 rooms were contaminated by SCP-31. Reclamation efforts have destroyed blank percent of the initial infestation, but over blank rooms remain infected by SCP-31. SCP-31 tendrils terminate in a pod-like structure, sporocarp, consisting of an ovoid structure approximately 2 meters in height, with multiple cilia-like structures branching off from the main body. On some occasions, subjects in the presence of an SCP-31 sporocarp will instead perceive it as an individual the subject has had close emotional connection to in their past. The SCP-31 sporocarp will metamorphose into the shape of the person perceived and attempt to persuade the subject to remain with them for an extended period of time. The SCP-31 sporocarp will next attempt to make physical contact with the targeted individual with their cilia-like structures. Digestive juices will be injected into the subject's body, and their flesh will be consumed and incorporated into SCP-31's body mass. In the meantime, a secondary flagellium will engulf the subject's cranium and brain, replacing the blood vessels with its own tendrils, which will maintain life support of the affected brain by some yet undiscovered means. The tendril will decrepate the subject and transport the target's cranium back through the building's ductwork, where it is incorporated into the central mass. Footage taken through surveillance drones indicate there are currently blank crania in the network of tendrils attached to SCP-31's central mass. By all indications, the brains contained within are still alive and may, in fact, be conscious. History. SCP-031 was recovered on the 22nd of the 10th, 1948, following contradictory police reports taken after a riot in the city of Redacted, where several civilians had gathered around a refugee camp professing love and devotion to a cult-like leader, whom they referred to as the Beloved. Once initial contact and assessment was made, the civilians were pacified through widespread distribution of inhaled tranquilizers and aerosolized amnestics. MTF Psi-7 was able to recover SCP-31's central mass and move it into containment. MTF Psi-7 is otherwise known as Home Improvement. In its initial form, SCP-31 consisted of a single amorphous entity, approximately 75 kilograms in weight, of vaguely humanoid shape. It had not yet manifested the ability to consume and incorporate human biomatter into itself, or any mind-affecting properties aside from inspiring unusual feelings of love and devotion. As of the 16th of the 11th, 1948, SCP-31 had been classified as safe and was in containment at Site Blank. Unfortunately, the Korean conflict, which began on the 25th of the 6th, 1950, resulted in the destruction of the Foundation containment site at Pyongyang and the loss of all anomalies contained within. By the end of the conflict in 1953, all other anomalies were accounted for, either recovered or confirmed destroyed, aside from SCP-31, which was presumed lost and in the wild. Foundation assets first became aware of the re-emergence of SCP-31 in 1992, when construction on the Roygyong Hotel in Pyongyang suddenly halted. Personnel liaising with the local regime confirmed that an anomalous effect had resulted in the disappearance of numerous workers employed in the construction of the hotel, and a Foundation mobile task force was dispatched to investigate. All members of the MTF were subsequently lost in action, and the site was locked down and declared off-limits. All work on the Roygyong Hotel ceased for over 16 years, aside from the installation of the Heaven's Blade restriction systems on the secondary spires. In 2008, increased infiltration of SCP-31 into the building's infrastructure resulted in the possibility of its discovery by outside persons. The local regime immediately ordered that the windows be installed on the structure to hide the existence of SCP-31 from others, resulting in the loss of more construction workers. Unfortunately, this was perceived as the resumption of construction on the building, resulting in expectations that the structure would actually be completed and open to the public in the future. Reclamation efforts commanded within the year Reclamation efforts commenced within the year, utilizing flame and solvent projecting weapons to destroy SCP-31 tendrils and sporocarps, with each team accompanied by a political officer assigned to terminate any personnel who became assimilated into SCP-31. As of this current date, reclamation efforts are still underway. Foundation personnel are continuing to liaise with the local regime and monitor their progress, which is slow but steady. Appendix 1. Excerpts from the Riser email server. From Riser. To Records Office. Subject. Incomplete Special Containment Procedure file for SCP-31. Team. I have an issue that needs immediate clarification. I have the Raijong Hotel as the location of a mind-affecting stele from the Proto-Afro-Asiatic culture group. As you can see, that's the same location as the brain-stealing flesh network. Are these two objects related at all? Is this hotel some kind of D-Park containment facility? If so, we should put that into the object special containment procedure file. Please reply at your earliest convenience. From Records Office to Riser. Response. Eleanor, as far as my team can figure, there doesn't appear to be a link between the two objects. In fact, I'm getting conflicting reports from containment teams regarding whether or not either of these objects actually exist. In 1427th team is insisting the hotel is the site for the Steely, and there is no brain-eating flesh network there, and the D Park government is part of the containment procedures. Then I have the team for SCP-031 insisting that the D Park government involvement is purely politically motivated, i.e., we don't want to get involved so long as they're taking care of it. There is no such thing as a mind-affecting Steely located within the building, which is concerning given that we have two mind-affecting anomalies within the same space and two teams with two separate stories. Possible Eastern Samurai situation. Gwen. From Riser to Records Office. Response. SCP-031 and SCP-1427 records conflict. Was incomplete special containment procedure file for SCP-031. Okay, someone needs to get to the bottom of this. We can't have a useful database with such blatantly contradictory information. Make it your first priority to resolve this. From Records Office to Riser. Response. Eleanor. Will do. Entered into the tracker as 0000031 F99ZX, with the sister ticket entered as 001 1427 F99ZX. When? From Riser to Records Office. Response. Team, can I get an update on this issue? From Records Office to Riser. Response. My apologies. I guess I wasn't clear with that further updates that would be sent out through the tracker system. We're gathering information and assessing the situation. We'll keep you informed. From Riser to Records Office. Team, it's been 3 days. Can I please get the requested update, or at least a deadline by which I can have this issue resolved? From Records Office to Riser. Eleanor, as I've stated in Tracker Update 22 on this ticket, we found that the problem is more complicated than we expected, requiring us to physically send a person from HQ over to Pyongyang to investigate. It's taken us some time to get through that North Korean red tape, totalitarian governments, am I right? And to get the paperwork done to reassign Jenny's responsibilities while she's gone. Gwen. From Riser to Records Office. Response. What's the hold-up? Was SCP-031 and SCP-1427 conflict. Was incomplete special containment procedure file for SCP-031. Team, it's been 2 weeks. Why has there not been any update on this issue? This is a highly time-sensitive issue, and your lack of progress is extremely disappointing. We need to get this resolved before Maria has to step in. From Records Office to Riser. Response. Eleanor. I can assure you that, per your instruction, resolving this issue has been our top priority. We've been cross-referencing between the documentation, and the only discrepancy appears to be the fact that there are discrepancies. As in, all of the documents for one project is internally consistent, and all of the documentation for the second project is internally consistent. It's only when you put them together that things don't make sense. We tried talking to the project leads for both teams, but neither of them seems to know that the other existed. We tried having them look up the other team's SCP file in the system. They can read it just fine, but it doesn't make any sense to them. SCP-031 team has no record of 1427 on site, and vice versa. We thought there might be some kind of time-space parallel dimension thing going, so we had a member of each team try to meet up at the same place at the Royjang Hotel outside the front entrance. They were not able to find each other despite confirming that they were both in the same place at the same time, photographs with timestamps attached. We then had the two team members try to meet up at a location outside of the hotel. They were able to meet up just fine. When they tried to return to the hotel together, they lost track of each other and ended up not being able to find each other. We tried sending Jenny over to Pyongyang to investigate. That was a pain in the ass given visa restrictions into North Korea. They weren't able to meet up with both teams simultaneously, but they were able to meet up with each team one-on-one. Both teams gave them a tour of their containment facility, and everything seemed to be in order. 31st team showed them the reclaimed rooms and the cleanup teams, while 1427th team showed them the location of the stele. Neither team was able to allow direct contact with the anomaly because of the containment procedures, but they were able to confirm its existence through remote cameras. The D-Park team for 31 had no idea about the existence of any D-Park assets being used to contain 1427 and vice versa. This might not be too surprising given information controls in that country. To make things even worse, Jenny got a call from Unum Mai at the KR branch asking what the hell a Riser staff member was doing in the city. She contacted them, and as far as KR is concerned, we do not and have not had any assets in the Rijang Hotel. Jenny went so far as to ask Yoon Mai to take her to the hotel and to show her around a bit. And when she got there, she couldn't find any trace of SCP-031, 1427, or the teams involved with either. So, in conclusion, after 3 weeks of hard work, we can conclude from the evidence one of the following must be true. SCP-031 exists, and SCP-1427 does not. SCP-1427 exists, and SCP-031 does not. Both SCP-1427 and SCP-031 exists, and there is an anomaly at the Rijang Hotel preventing either team from knowing about the other or proving the other exists. Neither SCP-31 or SCP-1427 exists, and there is an anomaly at the Rijang Hotel creating the impression that it exists in the Riser Central staff, but the KR branch staff are not affected. One or both of SCP-31 and SCP-1427 may or may not exist, and the KR branch are under a mind-affecting compulsion that they do not. Or we are under compulsion that it does. All, none, or some of the above may be true simultaneously due to multi-worlds theory, parallel universes, or timey-wimey fuckery shit. And if you have any idea on what we can fucking do to fucking fix this shit, I've got no fucking idea. Gwen. From Riser. 2. Records Office. Subject. New directors. Hello team. 1. Effective immediately, Guinevere Kirkpatrick has been relieved of her duties as the project lead of the Records Office. All Records Office staff are to make the resolution of tickets 000, 0031, F99ZX, and F001, 1427, F99ZX their top priority. No other work on any other project is to continue until this issue is resolved. I want hourly reports until this matter is concluded. From Director Miria Jones, Records Keeping and Information Security Systems Administration. 2. All Riser Associate Directors. Subject blank blank blank. A fond farewell and other updates. Good afternoon, Riser staff. Thank you again for all your hard work. Today's email will be a short one. The 3/14th update of Scuttle has been updated to snapshot 2207D. Please remind your teams to log into the test instance and confirm proper functionality. Send any bug reports to the Scuttle team as soon as possible. We know that this involves taking time out of your day for additional tasks, but the sooner we complete this wide-scale stress test, the sooner we can roll out the new version and put some fears to rest. 2. I'm saddened to announce that Eleanor has chosen to retire due to health conditions. This announcement came as a surprise to me as well. Due to the sudden nature of her health crisis, she was unable to say goodbye to us before being transferred to blank hospital, where I understand she is conversating nicely. Please expect a follow-up email with a link to a crowdfunding page for the ongoing gifts and going away gifts for her. as well as an address where you can send cards, gifts, and other well wishes. Until we can appoint a new AD to take over our projects, we will temporarily be splitting her teams up between several different existing ADs. Expect an announcement of the new table of organization by noon GMT. 3. Please take a moment during your next weekly team meeting to go over Section 22B, reporting inconsistencies in documentation, of your handbook with your staff, and make sure that everyone knows the proper procedures to follow if and when you end up with an information anomaly. Maria. So, that was a weird one, especially the ending of it. That long sort of appendix, the excerpts from the email server. Essentially, no one knows what the hell is going on with this one. It could be something, it could be anything, and we are nowhere near getting to SCP-1427. But if I am correct, SCP-1427 is where the entirety of North Korea disappears for a few hours. I think. I'm not 100% sure. Okay? But anyway, the main bit of this SCP, the actual SCP in and of itself, is essentially a creature or being or entity or something that can take the form of someone that you loved, or had some strong emotional connection to, and then cuts off your head, takes your head into the mass itself, and adds your body to the mass as well. But it keeps your head alive and probably conscious to experience the entire pain, and then it can go through your memories and blah 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 blah. So that was SCP-31. And I think because of the length of that SCP, especially the huge appendix that we just read, okay, that will be it for this episode. So, thank you guys so much for listening. If you liked it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because why not? It's free. And anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, bye.